Hey everyone, and thank you for sharing the 100 Web Day with me and Hey Schools. My name is Milla Kokko. I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of Hey Schools. Hey actually means in a Finnish language, hello, ciao, ni hao, hola. And we feel it, even if it comes from Helsinki international schools and so on, but we feel that it's a nice way to connect with everyone we have met, and it has functioned quite well, especially with the children. So the theme of the month for 100 community is supporting the development of early childhood education, and that's why we are super happy to be here to share our experiences regarding that. We think that we have the privilege to work with the most important VIP persons in the whole education world, namely the children from 0 to 6 years old, so the smallest ones. Hey Schools is an early education concept for packaging the Finnish education model for children and families and operators outside of Finland. Maybe I'll share you a little bit background before telling more about how we work. I think that the early education at large, not only in Finland or not only in developing countries or developed countries, but all over the world, is in a quite fascinating and important phase. Namely, we adults are slowly starting to understand that how important actually the first years, the fundamental years of life for the children and us as human beings actually are. So that is why, for example, OECD or James Heckman, the Nobel winner for the financial prizes for the realizing that investing $1 into early education will bring $7 back to the nation later on. So the kind of awakening for the importance of early childhood education is starting to happen big time right now. And most probably we who are alive right now will not see the end of the growth. So it will be a tremendous, large, big change from, if we would say, the kind of child care and babysitting to actually education and educating the smallest children. And we actually think that the smallest children deserve the best teachers, not the other way around. We have maybe used to think of that the universities are the kind of crown jewelry, or the academic studies, that's the most important and that's the most valuable thing. But we actually start to realize that it could be also seen the other way around, that the kind of core development years from very early on would be the most important. Hence, these smallest members of our education community all around the world are actually the true VIPs. That's the kind of like really large context around early education. And why we started to act is that also this happening in the whole world all the time is that Finnish education has been quite well recognized and desirable all over the world, especially on early childhood education and pre-primary and primary years. But it has been fairly difficult to offer outside of Finland, whereas Finnish system is 99% public, and then the Finnish government cannot really be the one who would then offer that. And then we decided to actually do something. That was a positive frustration that came. My colleague and founder of Hey Schools, Pilvi Torsti, was working at the time in the Ministry of Education in Finland and had this tremendous positive frustration growing, that people are asking again and again and again that, oh, this is wonderful, this Finnish education, what could we do together? And time after time, she had to answer that, oh, well, it's complicated because it's public. Similar experiences was with Professor Lasse Lipponen with the University of Helsinki, who is a professor of early childhood education, also hosting delegations and around the world and giving lectures in different countries, and have this similar positive frustration. And we understood that we cannot really start to do that by ourselves. So if we really want to offer high quality early childhood education for as many children and families around the world as possible, we cannot do it with a team, no matter how brilliant we think that our team is, and yes, it is, but still, if we want to really touch many people's lives, we understood that our job is not really to start to operate the early childhood education centers, but to find brilliant partners around the world and being able to offer them very well designed and very easy to use model and a concept model of Finnish early childhood education. And we started to design that. And this is where the design comes in, what was also in our headline, that designing pedagogy, designing with children. And we started to think that, can we do something that would be as simple as children's play? But can we even think that the concept would be like Lego blocks? Every single one of us who are parents had this experience of stepping on a Lego block in the middle of the night when you go into the bathroom, but also then the absolutely amazing experiences of building something new, something that you didn't imagine before, and somehow magically they click. And we started to think that if the one block could be, for example, curriculum materials, if the second block could be then, for example, teacher training, and the third block could be the spatial design, that how the actual learning space feels and how it functions, and maybe the fourth block then should be the learning materials, and then maybe we need one more block that could be perhaps then the kind of overall support and branding what the local partner could need. And where the children come into the picture is that everything we did in the beginning was that we were using design thinking methods, so that we were prototyping everything. We were trying to make everything to feel and be as simple as possible, and at the same time very concrete and tangible. And that's why we use children as our co-workers and co-designers. When we were designing, for example, spaces, is that, okay, how would a child, maybe a 3 or 4 year old, how he or she would see the space? And then we had to actually go on our knees also to see the space from the child's perspective, which actually looks quite different. What we realized at the very beginning is that, for example, very high spaces, the high ceiling, that might feel very luxurious or airy or cool for us as adults, might actually feel quite scary from the child's perspective. It is like a church. So then we thought that, maybe in the space that we are designing with and for children, the ceiling should be a bit lower, or at least something calming and soft and nice hanging from there, maybe green plants, maybe nice soft lamps and lightings and things like that. And it has been a tremendously teaching journey for us. Also that at how the day is designed, how the flow of the day is designed, that what are the difficult moments for children, so that we realized that, and we also interviewed children and we're observing them, so they really using design thinking methods and seeing that, for example, one of the most stressful moments during a kindergarten day for both for the children and their parents was the morning moment when the parents are bringing the children to the kindergarten or a daycare, and you have to say goodbye for the day. For some children, that is a kind of happy moment, just like, yeah, I see my friends and I go play. For some children and adults, it's a very kind of full of anxiety that, oh my God, I have to leave my child and maybe he or she is crying and all that. And then we realize that this space, for example, deserves a very, very nice, comfortable, calming, harmonious and beautiful space, instead of only being a space where you ditch your shoes or bags and just say like bye. So, or maybe when we were starting to design furniture with children, what would be the ideal size of the box to carry for a 3-year-old? What material should it be? What would be the colors that children like? Or how about if we have a play wall that maybe we as adults, we shouldn't decide beforehand that this one is a fire station, or this one is a shop, or this one is a kiosk for ice cream. Maybe we just offer a canvas. Maybe we just really, really let the children and teachers to build it, to be the agents, to be the active participators in the space. And space was something where the actual interiors and the actual learning environment was something that where we started everything. But then we started to realize that actually this applies to anything what we do. It actually applies also to how we design teacher training, how we design the, for example, a learning moment of science learning, and to kind of taking more and more of the child's perspective on everything that we do has been a tremendously important guide for us. And then we have been starting to realize a bit by bit that actually most of the educational environments, educational materials, educational practices have been decided and designed by adults, for adults, not by children or for children. And it feels kind of even stupidly simple, or somehow we have been like, how didn't we think this before? Also with the spatial design, like I said, that we often as an adults, we think that when we start to design spaces for children, that, oh, what children like? They must like bright colors and lots of impulses and lots of cartoon characters and all of that. And when we do that, and then the children themselves come, and they are colorful and lively and noisy sometimes, very impulsive, it becomes a mayhem. It doesn't become something purpose-driven or something that would help you as a learner to focus or understand. And that is why we started to slowly understand that it's not our job to create an overwhelming, impulsive and colorful and lively interiors. Our job is actually use calming, harmonious materials like natural materials, color palette, and let actually the children and the teachers to be the stars, to be the active participators in their own world. And in the same way as you could think of that an architect will create a space, but when you move in, you create the place. And that could be, for example, home. So from space making to place making. And this is something that we understood that it's our job to offer the frame, offer the canvas, and make that really, really well. Whether it is then the science moment or a name of the group or an children-driven activities. And then what was then we actually moved from the content to that how this should be run, that how should we design the business model around it. And here was something that we realized that, okay, now we need to use the partners with us, that how this would make it kind of brilliant for the partners who are actually operating and running the kindergartens, that what would be the most amazing experience for them. And it made totally sense that we involved them into the business model design, that okay, how this should be run, what parts would be very handy to be ready-made, what parts need to have space for the local adaptation, what parts the early on starting teachers would need support with, and where they would need inspiration and a space to create themselves. And here, for example, we realized that our curriculum materials for teachers, so that we have a yearly plan or monthly plan or weekly, daily, even lesson plan level, is that yes, we are offering very, very detailed examples and very, very detailed guidance, but leave it open in a way that what we are demanding is that every Hay School in the world will be fixed with a theme, so that if we say that the theme of July is forest, so then every Hay School in the world will have their forest theme, but then and then the certain objectives, then giving a very detailed guidance that this is how you can do it. But that's why we call it inspiration, not strict guidance for the curriculum that 1407 you have to do this. So as far and as soon as you have, as a teacher, the confidence of saying that, okay, I have actually even better idea how we are practicing small children's science learning in a context of forest. And then we say that, okay, fly. This is your space to fly and try your wings and do whatever you wish. Most of the teachers who start within Hay Schools do not have that long experience. So it's very much needed that we have the guidance first. And then when we go on, the teachers start to feel that, okay, now I actually feel quite empowered and I have this inner strength and power in me that I trust that I can actually have my own ideas. That point is magical as well. So then we ask the teachers also to come back to us and co-design the next portions of curriculum materials. So in that sense, in Hay Schools, there are two things that go through every single bit what we do. The other one is research-based, very deep pedagogical thinking and the mind, which is base for everything. And then the other thing is design. Not only the design of physical objects or furniture or space, but the design of experience, design of teacher training, design of the day of a child, design of also any branded materials or marketing or overall every single Lego block piece. And that has led us to the to the source of creativity in very, very many different levels. Source of creativity of children, creativity of teachers, also creativity of operators, of the school managers, of the business people. And somehow we have seen that we think too often that creativity is something that is strictly tied with the arts and crafts or your ability to draw beautifully, or we say that we have this creativity teaching. That means, for example, that how well children can draw a horse. And much more important creativity is, for example, that do you have an original idea, or can you express your idea? And this is what we have been training with teachers, with the school managers, with even parents. And that has led us in the kind of phase where we can use design, creativity, and deep pedagogical research together. And we have been so amazingly lucky to find these partners and teachers and parents and children around the world who have joined Hay Schools in a different ways. So today, Hay Schools have 7 open kindergartens in 4 countries. So 2 in China, in Baotou and Guangzhou, 1 in Melbourne, Australia, and 1 in Helsinki, in Finland. And in addition to, then 3 new ones in Korea, Seoul, so in South Korea. And then in addition to that, we have 16 ongoing cases in different phases of preparations in Saudi Arabia, in San Rafael Mendoza in Argentina, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, in Indonesia, Jakarta, and different parts of China and Finland as well. So we have been incredibly lucky to find all these amazing people who have been joining Hay Schools family. It was one of our Chinese teachers who came up with the name of Hay family at some point. He said that, you know what, we're not building Chinese culture here. We're not building Finnish culture either. We're building Hay family. And that was the moment when I got almost tears in my eyes and said that, oh, it's wonderful. So greetings to Kai in Baotou. That was a wonderful moment. At HundrED, we have had great, incredible opportunities to meet amazing, passionate, both educators and education professionals on different fields. I think that it has been, we have been so lucky to kind of learn from you as an educators and as a different partners, and to realize that the building a, so to say, in addition to a HundrED community, that we're building this kind of sister community of Hay Schools and Hay Schools children and parents around the world, is most probably the most valuable thing that we can do. We think that we are dealing with, in the same way that you have in technology, we have these early adopters who are finding the first gadgets and devices first and ready to pay for them. I think that we have in education similar crew of early adopters, and I think that each and every one of you listening to this and sharing the moment with me are the ones who are looking for the progressive methods and ways, innovating new, and who are ready to put their kind of passionate self and creativity and soul into doing something great and creating something new. So I'm giving a shout out, using the chance to connect with all of you. So if you have in your mind somebody who could, as a partner or as a operator or a child or parent, to join Hay Schools sister community, please let us know. You can follow Hay Schools in hayschools.com on our page, and on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram with the Hay Schools tag, so you will find that. And obviously you can find myself with Milla Kokko on all of those channels. So, and obviously for HundrED, more information on the amazing community and all the innovators around the world you can find from HundrED.org, and of course also to scroll further on this HundrED Facebook site and all the other social media channels I thank you deeply and warmly for sharing this moment with me. Please let me know if I can help you with any further questions or any projects around early education or high schools. And I would love to meet you all. And I'm absolutely sure that I will meet some of you in the coming months. Thanks so much for sharing this, and have a great summer day. Bye.